And our first comedian, our only comedian of the our first solo performer of the evening, also known to do workshops, lectures, spoken word, dance, high fashion modeling. She has been here from the beginning. Like literally. At Olivia, from the very beginning of Olivia, at Mishset's Fest since the very beginning. We know her, we love her. Please welcome, despite being an August Leo, Karen Williams.
So I'll pick this one. Okay. No, I actually like this one better. Okay. I have to. Anyway, thank you so much, Mimi, for getting me up here before midnight. I'm as patient as the next Leo, not. Okay, so I love, was that incredible, the drumming?
Yeah!
I have fallen in love with Mama Fosse's Buy My CD. That was brilliant. That was so clever. I was the egg person, in case any of you heard a little egg back there. So that's my forte. I've gotten to sit in with everyone from Holly Near to June Millington to Linda Tillery playing the egg. That's my thing. But anyway, I was begging Mimi to have me up here before 9 o'clock because I have to leave right after this set. No, it's fine. I didn't do that last night, and as a result, as soon as I hit Madison out the front gate, the skies opened up, and the rain said, fuck you. And I was fucked, people. It was scary as all get out. And I'm not a scary person. I'm born and raised in New York City, and, you know, I have my project creds and all that other kind of stuff, and I'm an ass-kicking comic and all that shit. I was praying. I was praying in my car because, well, it's, I've only had the car 2 months and it has 8,400 miles on it. So that gives you a clue of what it means to be a road comic. Mimi should know. Mimi had, what was your car, a Honda? What was it?
2 Hondas, 380.
She had
290.
Do you hear that? 290,000 miles on one. And 380,000 on another. And that's how we go around this land, this place, and making people, well, we try to get you to laugh anyway. Some of you are just chronically bitter. But, we do what we can. Okay? So I certainly do what I can. And it's really intense being here, especially with a smaller group, and really watching people transform pretty much in front of your eyes here, as we all have had to adjust to the fact that this is not what we were used to. Right? And especially now that we're women of a certain age, we want everything to be exactly like it was. We are fucked up with change. Aren't you feeling that as you're, I mean, let's really talk here. I mean, we try to adjust and we look at the younger women, not really with any kind of jealousy. It's outright rage. It's past, you know, we all remember when we get together, the world is just fucked up, and mostly it's because everything on us hurts. It's not so much that the world is so terrible. It's we used to leap out of bed and face the day with gratitude, joy, and vigor. And now we lay there wondering, do we really have to pee? Do we really have to pee? Like if I just lay here, and maybe put my legs up, will the pee go back into the bladder? Is there a way that I could figure out how to put pillows under my pelvis? Is there a yoga move that I can do that pushes this pee back up into the bladder because it's fucking 3:30. I just got to sleep at 2, and I don't really want to pee right now. Is there a way that I could make wetting the bed something erotic? Is there a way that I could drink enough water that it doesn't smell, and maybe, since I now can afford a $1,400 mattress instead of the blow-up mattress that I secured with 4 crates in my youth, because it's ridiculous what we're able to do now, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, really think about the beginning of this fucking movement. Yeah. It was all about crates. 1 crate was a chair, right? 2 crates was a table, okay? 4 crates, 2 and then 2 was a stereo component unit. Who are we fucking kidding? We had nothing. We built this movement on wishes and crates. It was really, I mean, even you know, like after a point of being here at the old Mish Fest, I was really disturbed about laying on the ground, so I pre-ordered 4 crates and a board that they kept for me, and several of us did that. Don't laugh, I was not the only one. Because many of you have a lot of reasons for why Mish Fest went away after 40 years. I'm going to tell you the truth. 2 old dykes trying to get up in the morning out of the tent was not attractive. When you and your lover are both on all 4s and there's no oral sex involved, you're mostly just trying to find the fucking zipper so that you don't pee right where you're kneeling. All the joy is gone. It's gone. You're on all 4s, she's on all 4s, she's no fucking help to you. At that moment you're saying, why didn't we do polyamory? There'd be at least a young woman in here to fucking help us get up. We had no idea that monogamy really didn't work. Oh yes, we were jealous. Oh yes, we were possessive. But we were not futuristic enough to open up our lives and get at least 1 young dyke who was filled with compassion and had no remorse, who could help us. We need help. Have you seen us? Look at us on this rocky, uneven land. I want pavement. The mats, we have outgrown matting. Matting doesn't work. I'm going to volunteer to have a female cement company come here and pave some of this.
Blasphemy!
There's no... blasphemy my ass. I'll try to run with you to the front gate and we'll both die around the tree. It's not happening. It's not happening. I've been in this movement long enough to know that there's barely any fucking going on in this land at all. We used to have planes dropping flyers about SM parties. And now we think SM means snacks and more snacks. We don't even know what the initials mean anymore. It's a movement that young women have to take over. We're done. Look at us. None of our old shit fits. We're walking slowly. We have money to buy the CDs now. We don't have to buy one and make 49,000 copies for our friends. That's what we used to do. People came up to me when I produced my first DVD, I Need a Snack. A woman came up to me and said, I bought one and I made 15 copies for my friend. And I said to her, fuck you. I really didn't say that. But I'm just saying, that's what people told us that they did. They made copies. I mean, and you couldn't get angry. We know this movement was built on stuff that is not even food. We ate tofu, people. I don't know about you, I throw my old sponges away. What was that? Tofu. All the food. You think it's problematic having all white women? We ate all white food. Everything white was served here. Tofu. Even the hummus was barely yellow. Everything we ate was white. I mean, that's because we could get it. There was no meat except in Chicago. Now, some of you never went to Chicago on the land. Well, I'm sorry for you. But even the white women, I was on the tractor once, and I got off at Chicago, and Chicago was where all the Chicagoans were. And when I walked down that path, I was greeted. They had greeters. I was warmly greeted. Karen, would you like some shrimp, fettuccine, or ribs? Shh. Both. We had to be quiet. But there's no fucking way you all didn't smell the ribs. I know there was no way. I didn't smell these ribs, but you smelled those ribs in Chicago, okay? They had food over there. Their tents were like apartments. People came, Pat McCombs and those people, they bought furniture. They had furniture. They could do SM because their beds had posts. They were not fucking around here. And the tractor driver said to me, where you going? I said, Chicago. She said, bring me back a hot dog. I was like, I had contraband and shit in my people were like, what's that perfume? The hot dog? It was just, you know what I mean. And then, of course, everything else was going on here, too. Now that everyone's in recovery, it's really tough. But, well, I have to share, not everyone, I know. But I have to share because I recently had to have surgery on my left eye for glaucoma just 2 months ago, and I was really pissed because I had been on a glaucoma prevention program for quite a few years, and when some of you are not even getting this, and then when I decided, for health reasons and otherwise, that I would not participate in the glaucoma prevention program. I had to get laser surgery, and that was $1,700. I could have bought a lot of glaucoma prevention for that. But and after the surgery, I had headaches, and not from the surgery, just from the resentment. I had given up this stuff, so, but, in the real world, who's saying all the whats and everything? You're so bad. No, in the real world, let me just tell you, I'm a grandmother and a great-grandmother. I have 10 grandchildren and 2 great-grandchildren. And so when one of my sons, my grandsons, who's now 29 and has the 2-year-old, was 13, he was suspended from school because he was starting on the early glaucoma program and prevention program. And I realized I couldn't really say much to him if I was still on that program. So it makes it a little tough. But at least I get to talk about it here amongst friends. Well, the biggest problem we have on the land is how to get rid of the cigarette butts, really. What's that like? So anyway, I asked Mimi to have me up early. Thank you so much. She must be on the same program because you laughed 10 seconds after I said that. That's how we used to know what drugs people were on. By when they laughed, So yeah, last night I left here and it was just really frightening to drive in the rain here. But I recall when it was even more frightening to actually be on the land while it was doing that. But we were younger. And so many of the women took advantage of all of that torrential rain to actually mud wrestle. Any mud wrestlers here? Yeah, I could tell. I could see that you were a mud wrestler. I also now know that I'm on now at 8:25, and this one woman has yawned at least 4 times. So I realize that it's very frightening to have a show at night, and I just want to suggest to Jamie that when you do the festival again, that you start the shows at 2:30. 2:30. We don't need to be sitting out here at 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. 2:30, it would be over about 4:30, 5 o'clock. People could have a snack, maybe have a little sex, and be in bed by 8:30. And that is a good program for the lesbians. They do not need to be staying up late at night. It's going to take some of them tonight 45 minutes to get to their tent, if they remember where it is. If they remember. Because that's what's happening to us too, isn't it? Isn't it? I don't know why we were so attached to being someplace and saying, well, we miss how Michigan was, because let's be honest, do you really remember? No, we don't remember a lot now. Is it true? Isn't it amazing that you can be standing in your kitchen and go into the bedroom and can't remember why you went in the bedroom? Right? So you come back in the kitchen, and then all of a sudden you remember again, so you go back in the bedroom, and then you come back, and so I'm trying to develop an exercise program that we can get our 12,000 steps in by trying to remember why we're going back and forth. We can actually get all our steps in. I don't know. I mean, this audience doesn't seem to be that receptive to it. Because you're all sitting on fucking blankets or whatever you're sitting on out there. This is, seems like there's been more people here since yesterday. Were there more people? Did people actually come in for today?
Yes.
Oh, is that true? It's like, this is like a drop-in kind of festival? Or, first of all, how do you find this, you know? I asked Jamie, I said, she says, just Google the land Walkerville. Is there anyone that worked for? Oh, it did? Okay. Well, I guess you'd have to have something better than an iPhone 4, maybe. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's time I got an upgrade. What do you think? Maybe I need to have something else, because all kinds of things came up besides the land.
You have to use Google Maps. You can't use any other search. It has to be Google Maps.
Okay, so this is actually not, shut the fuck up, will you please? This is not really the audience participation part of the show. This is me trying to get through my act with all due respect. This is me. This was not a resource chat or anything. This was me making fun of myself because I still have an iPhone 4, and even that's not the truth because I have a 5. Okay? So fuck you. Okay? And I tried the Google Maps, and it still didn't work because I don't know what Google is. Okay? It's really okay. Many of you Googlers and people like that are going to think you're very, very advanced, you know, because, you know, people just try to act as though they're IT wizards and that you've got to have the latest phones and the latest gizmos. And really what I'm trying to do in my life is, you know, I would like to tell myself that what I really want to do is connect with people. But I don't really want to. I really come here because I'm asked, and people think that I might have something to say, and I'm known as the first out black lesbian comedian in the country. So people ask me to come here, and they think that that I really want to be here on some barren land with Maddie. And last night I was hoping that when the clouds broke open and poured specifically on me, that it wasn't some kind of conspiracy, me being the only black driver out there on the road at that time. Was somebody else out there too?
Yes,
Were you out there?
I'm black too.
Okay. So it was a conspiracy. It was me and you, okay? And thank you, Kim. I needed that. That's why sisterhood is powerful. We could have both died out there on Madison together. And what would all of you have done? Just said, oh, no. That's not what I want you to do. That's not really what I want. I love that there's just so much healing here, and the drumming is powerful, and all of you staking, your lives to come here when it wasn't going to be as, structured. You see, I had a completely different experience than many of you with Mishfest. I never really camped. I mean, I tried many times to camp, but as some of you know, I came on my first trip to Mishfest with my clothes from the cleaners and high heels. And I had no sleeping bag. I'm looking at one woman's face, she's like, where did you think you were going? I didn't know. I thought since there were going to be a lot of women there, I should look my best. What I didn't realize is that here it doesn't really matter. After about 3 or 4 days, we all look like women of color just from the dust. Just from the fucking dust, okay? There was one year, it was so dry here. It was so dry. Do you remember that? White women were brown up to their knees. I mean, really. It just totally broke through all the stereotypes. A couple of them went into town and they experienced racism. It was really shocking for them. And, and they were crying in the shower because it came off in the shower, and they were hugging us and giving us money, stuff like that, because all it was for them was dust. You know what I mean? They got to have that experience. And so if you feel that way while you're here now, feel free to give any of us money. We will take it. We will take it. That didn't go over so well. I always try to give in little please. If you don't stop, this is not a Baptist church. This is me trying to do my act. And you're very distracting. I'm a Buddhist. We meditate. We don't shout out. I would have never made a good Black Baptist. I'm too polite. You would be calling on Jesus and I would be going, oh. Which I always found funny anyway. Lesbians calling out to Jesus when they're having an orgasm. Once again, the man gets the credit. I just fucking hurt my neck making me come. Do not call on Jesus. Jesus' neck is fine. Mine is fucked up.
Yeah.
Call on Jesus. Oh Lord, oh Lord. No. Oh Karen, here's some arnica. Here's some arnica. It's so hard. I mean, even when we say you guys, why do we still do that? It's so awful. We're so inculcated. I mean, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to get all the patriarchy out of me. It's so difficult. And we have a bad situation, especially Black women. Jesus Christ, what? I just fucking paid all your bills. Why you thank Jesus? Don't thank Jesus. Thank my steady income. I would never make a good, I'm just not good at it, And some of my sacrilege comes from my home environment. It just does. My dad was a really dark black man in New York City working. He's from Barbados, came to this country and just felt like, what the fuck, right? So he's trying to work and everything. So he was a little bitter. So I remember dinner one time. Most people do grace. They say grace. God is good, God is great. He said, Daddy is good, Daddy is great, and we thank him for our food, because when God goes out and works as hard as I do, we'll thank him. So if you wonder how I got like this, that's how. That's how. Now, I have had a lot of therapy, because he took that away from me, but and I do have daddy issues. But at any rate, some of you can laugh at that. I realize we're on the land, not everyone. Okay. So, will you stop? Are you really a Baptist preacher?
I am.
Oh, and all of a sudden now you get humble. You've been fucking noisy the whole show. Right? Are you a Baptist preacher? Look, so God came through and said, shut up. I am. Yes, I am. I did not mean to raise such a loud noise. What do they call it? A prayer? I don't even know. What do they call it? I don't even know. You're the only black person I know that doesn't know the Bible. I never went to church. I wasn't forced to go. It's not in my background. It's not in my history. So, a friend of mine, her father passed away, and they were members of the Word Church or something, and I had to read something. And it was the most Episcopalian reading of something in a Word church. Any Episcopalians here? You guys are dry. You're dry. You're just dry. You go to church with the Episcopalians, you're in and out of there in 30 minutes. It's like, there's no singing, there's nothing. You bow twice, read something, and you're out. You can still make the breakfast special, at Denny's. So, those Baptists, they're in there all fucking day doing what? I don't know. But anyway, I'm not going to talk about them because, see, it got very quiet here. And a lot of the black people who were going to buy my one CD are saying, no, I'm not going to buy that. First of all, she thinks her dad is God. So we have a problem right there.
I'll buy it.
So, who said they'll buy it?
I did.
Oh, well, thank you.
Okay.
How many copies?
There's just something I'll never get used to, people shouting out at me. It's just something I've never gotten used to. Most entertainers, I'm that type. My mother is shocked that I am a comedian because I was painfully shy. Do you know what that means, painfully? Like, scared. Everything. So this has given me a lot of courage. I started doing comedy on a dare. On a dare. And I'll tell you what the dare was. I dared to go down impoverished. I was 31. I had 2 children. And one was 12 and the other was 1. And I lived in South Berkeley, and if you know Berkeley, Sacramento and Ashby, 2 crack houses across the street from me. And I sat in the window and I said 2 things. Am I ever going to get my kids out of here? And am I ever going to see the world? And contrary to the Baptist sister who thinks we're now in church and I'm giving a testimonial, I'm a Buddhist. I began chanting hours and hours and hours. Long story short, a guy walked through a group of friends where I was down at the Hyatt in Oakland and said he did comedy. He had a comedy show coming up, and out of nowhere I said, I do comedy too. And my friends were like, as soon as he walked away, what do you mean you do comedy? You don't know. I was like, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened, but he gave me 5 minutes in his act. And I performed at a club at the Oakland airport called the Hagenberger Inn, and just to give you an idea of what kind of club it was, it had rooms with red Hart beds with mirrors over the bed, okay? And so the guy asked me to arrive at 8 o'clock at night, And much like this festival, I didn't go on until 11:30. At which time I played to 6 drunks. But I was dressed in a Senegalese dance outfit, and the woman I was seeing at the time was the woman who was braiding Stevie Wonder's hair. So she had braided my hair in this gorgeous purple and gold crown. So here I was at this dive of a bar, dressed like I stepped out of the pages of Vogue to play to 6 drunk men, all right? That's how I started. And those guys did not want us there, just like Mama Fosse was saying. This is 35 years ago. They did not want you in their sacred space. You know, so I was competing in the black comedy competitions in Oakland. And one year I was the only woman with 75 guys. And one of the guys said to me, well, what are you going to talk about, your period? I said, no, I'm going to talk about how small your dick is. Is that okay? And that's how badass I had to be at the beginning just to be there. And, you know, it was a serious conflict for me because I wanted to be out. I wanted to be embraced by the lesbian community, but before Marga Gomez, Kate Clinton, myself, Leah Delaria, Linda Oakes, Mokes, there was no lesbian comedy. We invented it, okay? So I'm doing a competition one night, and I'm placing in the competition with all these guys, and they had placed hecklers in the club, and the guys were heckling me, and it was just horrible for me. And the next night I played in Santa Cruz, California for a Women Against Rape Take Back the Night event with 300 dykes there, and I got a standing ovation. So I said, I have a choice to make. I can stay over there or I can come over here. And I decided to come over here. Doesn't mean it's been easy. It doesn't mean there's not all kinds of shit going on over here. But the thing I love the most about this community, and I was reminded of it driving down that long gravelly road, which I never really saw. Because as a performer, we were either brought in, driven in, or because we were driven in and went through the next gate, all I ever saw was cars. And people would be yelling my name and all of that. This time when I've driven in and I've felt the embrace of those trees down the road, it's been profoundly touching. And I've learned so much on this land. I didn't know about community. I was the type of entertainer who came out, did my shit, and went backstage because that was my only safety. I didn't know how to be with people. And now it's to the point where when I'm performing, 9 times out of 10, I get off the stage and I go out with the people. And that was created for me with all of your love and all of your intention and all of your support. And if you were to query almost any of us artists, from Chris Williamson on in and out, because Chris is now a good friend of mine, because I said to her on an Olivia trip, you sing that song Sisters, but I don't feel like you're my sister. And because she heard me, we are now sisters. We are sisters. We have been able, and that's what I love about this community. We take on the hard shit. We talk about shit here, even when it's uncomfortable. You know, and that takes a lot of courage to be able to do that. For me to come here and be a black, single, lesbian mom, angry. I mean angry at everything, everyone, the world, poverty. I mean all of it. You know, and to come here and be able to learn to not only love myself, but to embrace all of the women that I've encountered in the years that I've been out here. It's really something that's so special and so precious to me. You know, Judy DeLugax, everybody, you know, there's class stuff here and we deal with that. And for many years, people thought, oh, Olivia, those are the rich women. And we're the mishfesters. And they're, you know, we're just working class. Well, go on Olivia trip now. Well, it helps that they have payment plans. You know, some down, no down, all down, low down. But they have payment plans. So, and not only that, Terry Lynn Delk, who was here, an institution at Miss Fest, is now working with Olivia. And a lot of the staff, Kim Wilson, Myrna Johnston, they all work with Olivia. And it's even helped to bring Mishfest to Olivia. And what happens on those Olivia trips, when I first started with them 30 years ago, there were women there who were coming into their power, like vice president of a bank. I mean, you have to think 30 years ago. For a woman to be a VP at a bank was huge. And they would ask me to go to dinner with them, and I would have dinner, and a woman would say, I can't be out at my job, but I really want to support some organization. Who can I support? And I would give her my number. No, I would give her the names of battered women's shelters and rape crisis centers, and because these women wanted to donate, they wanted to be able to use their money to help. But we have to understand that this is one community and there are many communities. And that Olivia is a community. Now, we may not all feel comfortable there. You know, and there's many, many communities of which we all belong to a variety of communities. But just like Afia was saying, look what we get to bring back, you know, to that community, you know. And so I just feel so honored to be asked to be here with all of you time and time and time again. So, I mean, I have some funny things I want to say, but I also just want to thank you. Just really, really thank you. Because, you know, we remember, you know, it's tough now. That's why I'm saying, Jamie, just take note. Some of the women said that when they came to the land, they were actually going to have sex. And it's not really fitting into the schedule when we don't even really know what the schedule is. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to fit it in, you know, which is true anyway, because for some of you, right? Like, we're at that age of saying, like, when do you have the sex? That's part of the problem, isn't it? Because when you have it at night, you have to call in sick the next morning, don't you? It's sex. No, really. I used to love sex in the morning, but if I have sex in the morning now, I'm like grumpy all day. I don't have much energy. Don't ask me to do anything. You know, especially if you have a job, you can't really go in there with that kind of attitude. You know what I mean? You know, your boss says, what's the matter with you? Did you try to have sex again? What's going on? You know? And I used to love to run home for a quickie. Remember those quickies at lunch, right? But now it's all quick. And why would you miss a meal? Why would you miss a meal? Because you know that if you have a choice now between sex and a sandwich, the sandwich is going to win. You'll be asking, what are you going to put on it? What are you going to put on it? You know? It used to be, what are you going to put on me? You know? I mean, some of the little known facts you don't know about me. In the 90s, I worked with Susie Bright at On Our Backs. And my job, I sold ads, Mimi knows, I sold ads for sex products, and I also reviewed videos. So I would get a cup of coffee and watch some woman, you know, beating her nipple with a metal ruler at 9 in the morning and go, well, no one's going to want to watch that. So a lot of the stuff that you see out there, I reviewed. I tried to to make sure there was a theme, but after about the 8th one, I didn't give a shit. So that's why some of them just come right in and take the clothes off. But I never did approve the porn, we didn't call it porn then, we called it erotica.
Yeah.
I did not approve the erotica that had, where any of the women had long painted nails or too much lipstick. Have you really ever kissed someone with too much lipstick? I mean, it's like all over your face, and it's just, and you're laying there and you're trying to feel sexy, but you really just want to wash your face. You're not even worried about her bits at that point. I know she washed her bits, but could she please get a cloth and wipe my face? Could she just wipe my face? That would make me feel better. So, yeah, that's Julie Goldman, Lady Bits. I love when she said that, her Lady Bits. So, what else can I tell you as I stare out at the children? Okay, I never really understood the children at well, I guess we're small still, so we don't have any like child care or cookies. Just a cookie. I just need 2 dykes behind me with cookies for the children. That'll be fun. Okay. Anyway, some of this you're gonna miss. I know. It's okay. And the deadening silence prevailed. Okay. It really doesn't matter anymore if people laugh, because I already have a vision of myself as I get older. This Tuesday, I just turned 60. How old did I turn? 67. And I've already told my good friends like Mimi, like when I'm about 85 or something and I'm wandering around Euclid where I live going, I used to be a really famous lesbian comedian. I used to be a really famous lesbian comedian. Just point me in the direction of my home, and I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I don't really see that for myself. It was just a bit that I was working on. First of all, I'm too fucking vain. Have you noticed? And second of all, those lady bits do need some attention. So, do you know what lady bits are?
I do.
You do?
I think she forgot. Shut up.
No. No, but you have to have a lot of love and compassion, because sometimes when you've been in a long-term relationship, it is easy to forget that we are lesbians because we like pussy. You may think it's for all the other issues, someone to help you get around or things like that, but it really was about the pussy. And some of you have been with your partner so long, you don't even know if she still has a pussy. You don't even know. You haven't seen it in so long that you don't even know. And you have to keep track of pussies because they've been known to get washed in pants and get lost in the dryer. That happens from time to time. It's rare, but it is possible that you could leave your pussy in your pants and then it's just gone, So I just advise people who have been in long-term relationships to just do a pussy check. You don't have to ask her for any of it. Just say, honey, like maybe she's getting ready to take a shower, and you say, honey, could I just see it? And she can just open her pants up, you look inside, and you go, good, it's still there. You just want to make sure it's there in case the opportunity arises for something else to happen. Now, I've done this routine many, many times, and I'll be on an Olivia trip and forgotten that I've done it. And the next morning, some very happy, cheesy, big cheesy smiled lesbian will go like this to me, and I won't know why. And it's because she did the pussy check, and in checking, a little bit more happened. And she's so excited that she's just grinning and cheesing and very happy. So I did not realize that in my potpourri of talents. I'm also a sex therapist. I had no idea that merely suggesting that you do a pussy check could lead to so much happiness and joy for people. So I'm going to say to you, now it's about to get dark, you might have to use your flashlight, which could upset the pussy. I mean, it's not used to bright lights. So just turn your phones down a little bit to dim, and then take a look. You're not going to get this advice on Oprah. You're just not. Not until she and Gail come out. But anyway, well, I have to tell you, ladies, or whatever you call yourselves, because I'm definitely confused at this point between the non-binary gender things. I'm just going to call myself Lady Bits. And then what you call yourself is really your business, because I'm also getting to the point where not only do I forget, I don't care. I am finding that not caring is leaving a lot of space in my psyche for really important things, like writing my books or corresponding with my real friends, because I have about 25,000 of them on Facebook, but I don't really know them all. You know, every now and then creepy guys will even ask to friend me, and I just say, why? And usually they go away because they're not used to being questioned. So, you know, that usually helps with that. But you might ask yourself, where were you going with this right now, Karen? And I have to tell you, I don't know. I really don't know. This was just some stream of consciousness stuff that I was trying to frame as though I was impressing you with my genius and brilliance. But actually, I'm beginning to get frightened as I see the night descending and realize I have to make my way out of here. So, with love, grace, humility, and more massive love, thank you so much for having me here.
Oh, that's fun too.
Let's just panty check each other, just for old time. Let's make sure we both have our vaginas. Let's make sure you've got yours.
Okay, now I want to warn Mimi, because when I was 5 in kindergarten, I said to the little boy Eric, let me see yours, and he showed me, and then I ran out and told the teacher. I did not show him mine. So I will gladly look at yours, Mimi. But the idea that I'm going to actually show you mine is not really going to happen.
I got a better idea. Because you seem to be operating under... you know, the delusion that there really is no sex happening on the land. However, there was an invitation from stage even last night to go to the goddess temple and have sex at a sex party. There's even something happening this evening beyond the zone. The zoners have held up the sex.
I just want you to know that I did
land.
not have a delusion that there was no sex. Once again, you and the Baptist preacher are not taking what I'm saying as comedy. I know that as long as we are alive, we will mate.
Yes! Or at least simulate mating.
Simulate
I would like to simulate mating. I'll take turns. I'll decide. All right.
Is it okay if I go now, Mimi?
No, I can't let you go yet. Karen. I can't let you go yet. Oh, we're both holding your egg. That's almost sexual.
I'm coming.
Well, I'm gonna jump on board if you're running away. Okay, Karen.
Yes.
I really adore you. We have been friends 30 some years.
Yes.
And you have always been an inspiration. You are just genius comedy. And even though you are an August Leo, there are a lot of beautiful August Leos. You're number one, of course. But there are August birthdays here, and I believe Jamie wants to do something very special for you and all August birthdays. So are you ready? Sisterhood is still powerful. Are you ready? Jamie, that means you're ready.
Oh my!
Look at this. One of two cakes. One of two cakes for Karen Williams and all of the August birthdays.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
That looks like the chocolate one, and there's a vanilla,
Oh, okay.
and there is enough cake for everyone.
For everyone to have sex.
Well, we need to put this on a table.
No, the table is over there.
Oh.
Ready? What do you?
Oh, okay, we have to do it with some.
Fantastic.
Okay, all right.
Let's.
All right, well, that sounds exciting. So we need to cut this cake like right now because I need to go.
Okay. Do you want the vanilla or do you want the chocolate, Karen?
Well, I feel as though if I choose vanilla, the black woman will judge me. Especially Nina J. But anyway, I would like vanilla.
You would like vanilla?
Should we say happy birthday? That's buttercream.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yum.
I'm going to have one of each. Really.
That's what I want.
I want to bring it to my room and eat it.
Oh, you think it'll make it that far? Because
Yeah.
guess what? There's no rain until like much later. You'll be deep in sleep if there's even rain. Don't worry. Okay. Okay, sisters.
Happy
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Karen.
Oh, I'm talking to this. And other August Leo. Thank you all so much. Thank you.
Birthdays. And your Virgos too. All August birthdays. Make a big wish, Karen.
Okay. I wish for world peace, female domination, an abundance of cash, and random pussy checks.
Karen, do you know I was in one of Debbie Sundall's movies? I was in an erotica. Do you know that? I was in an erotica?
I don't remember.
Well, I know. That makes sense. There's going to be oh, look at the chocolate and the vanilla. Wow. Look at Tree Woman just wail right through there. Straightish lines. Straightish lines.
I got distracted.
Oh my God. The verticals are just so funny. I worked at a lesbian sex club in San Francisco when they first came out. And it's really, it was really unusual at the time in the 90s when the lesbian sex club started because lesbians, unlike gay men, didn't know how to have a sex club. My job at the sex club was emceeing. That's not something gay men ever have at their sex clubs. But they know why they're there. Get in, get on, get out, all right? Lesbians, when I was emceeing, I felt like I was at a hootenanny, you know? Take your partner, spin her around, throw her on the floor, get on down, come on.